the boys and I went to Columbus on, what is today, Monday? We went Friday night. So I coached during the day on Friday, and then I pulled the boys out of school, and we went to Columbus and watched the Ohio State-Iowa wrestling match, which was awesome. It was really cool. I was like, the stadium that's in the Covelli Center is really cool. It's like, it felt like a big high school basketball arena.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like,
Was there a lot of people there?
there was like 5,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot more than I would have guessed.
Dude, it would look like, I would have been stressed if I was one of those wrestlers, because
Really?
like it's a show, it's a spectacle, which is really cool. I don't know how much wrestling you've been to.
Not much.
So like
Any.
at the RHS meets, like when the wrestlers are going, it's like really awkwardly quiet in the room. And like, just like you can hear the coaches yelling, and every now and again, like a parent will say something, but it's like really hushed. And it's like that, but there were 5,000 people in the room. So
That's
like
heavy.
Yeah.
Like,
so you just hear like a lot of murmuring until like the last 30 seconds, and then
then it just
everyone starts to freak out.
explodes. That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
though.
it was cool. And just the setup of it was really neat. Like, it's kind of like in a bowl. So, you know, we had good bad seats. So we were on the floor, but we were at like eye level with the mat as it's in front of you.
That's kind of cool.
But there were a bunch of people in front of us. We were in the back row on the floor, so you couldn't really see anything.
Yeah.
But I did get to spend a lot of time with Brutus Buckeye. So Brutus is like 6'5", and then he's got his big old
head.
Buckeye head on top of that. So we sat in the back row in the corner. So Brutus could only move around so much because he didn't want to block the view, because
Right.
it's pretty tight in there.
Yeah.
So like every time he spent the first half of the match on my side of the mat, and his break spot was like literally right here,
next to you?
right next to me. So I'm like watching this match, and I was like into it, because this kid, like, I like this kid, I like this wrestler, and my son is like, my youngest is sitting next to me. He's like, Dad. And I'm like, what?
It's like a celebrity.
And he's like, look. And I look, and Brutus was literally just like 3 feet away from
right
me,
there.
like staring at me.
That's awesome.
Like, what's up, dude? But every time he'd come by, he'd tap me on the shoulder.
Aw.
Yeah, it was cool. I think the boys had a good time. I had a good time.
I'm sure they had a good time.
Yeah, we love Columbus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Yeah, it was just a lot of sports happening.
Yeah.
Right now. So
tip of the pyramid.
Yeah. And it's on display. My favorite part of the Olympics is sitting back and Clint and I just judge the heck out of people. Like, we know what we're talking about. We're like, man, they didn't do that rodeo 1600 spin. They got way too toesy.
I
Splash
wish
the sauce.
Yeah, I wish that they would put like a
Regular average person out there just for
just
context.
a normal person.
Just for context.
Yep.
But one thing that got me thinking about, so tying this all together, one thing that got me thinking about the gym and everything is just like ego. So have you been following this whole, I know your eyes lit up. Have you been following this whole Lindsey Vonn thing?
Well, like very loosely. She got hurt, right?
Yeah,
She's the
she
one
crashed.
that like, she crashed before.
She crashed like what? Several days before this. So she had
Like
her
in a
huge
warm-up or something like
she had her
that?
huge comeback. It was in Switzerland. It might have been a qualifier. Anyway,
Yeah.
she crashed, ruptured her ACL. Like,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah.
And then said, no, she's still going to compete.
Yep.
And then she broke her leg
Yeah.
on the same side.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, obviously I am not an Olympian, but my thought is like, man, why? Why would you put like, why would you do that?
Yeah. I think that's, I guess, opinion incoming here.
Yeah.
I think that's a really easy question for us to ask when we've spent the last, well, how old is this girl?
She's 41.
Okay. How many times has she been to the Olympics? Do you know?
A lot.
I mean, a lot of times, probably, right?
Yeah. Retired in 2019.
Like multi-Olympic competitor. So her event happens how often? Once every 4 years.
Yeah, sure.
So she trains in 4-year blocks to compete for 1 week out of every 4 years. So I think as a average Joe fitnesser, it's like super easy for me to sit on the couch and be like, why would you take that risk? But if you flip the mindset and you think of it like, I only get to compete at this level once every 4 years, and her whole life probably revolves around that. I don't know about skiers or ice skaters or any of that, but I do have this just sliver of knowledge about the Olympic weightlifters. Mm-hmm. And I know that those guys, like it's crazy to me to think about how their training works. Mm-hmm. So we train in what, like 8 to 12 week blocks?
Yeah,
when
I would say,
when we're working on our Olympic lifts, right?
Yeah, 6 to, yeah.
Yeah, they train on 4-year blocks.
Right.
So just like extrapolate, imagine like, you know what I'm saying? And you're taking the next 4 years to peak at one competition. Mm-hmm. And that is like the opportunity that you have to do the thing at the highest level possible. And you only get one shot at doing it. So whether you're injured or not, if that's your only chance to do that thing.
I think what's wild to me is like, she just came out of retirement less than 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, you got the bug, man.
It's just wild.
You get the bug.
Yeah. She had her total knee replacement and was like, oh, I feel really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not Olympians for a reason. No. Right? Like,
I don't have that mental grit.
Yeah. There is an attitude and a mindset that comes at that level of competition. And I don't know anything about it because I clearly do not compete at that level, and I never will. And I don't want to, because like if you look at the CrossFit Games, you know, the level of commitment that they have to have in order to compete at the CrossFit Games, like it takes up your whole entire life.
It makes you wonder, like you clearly have to absolutely love the sport that you do. And it makes you wonder, like, what's that line between loving a sport and it becoming almost like the bane of your existence?
Oh, it's not healthy.
Like it can't be.
Yeah. I
like it almost like it has to be somewhat unhealthy. Clearly you have to be willing to ski on a ruptured ACL.
Men will die for points.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's a Glassman quote from the early years of CrossFit. Like, for me and you in particular inside of this gym, like we're really focused on health and longevity. Right. Like for me, it's because I know, like I have kids who I know are going to have kids, or I hope are going to have kids, and I'm going to have grandkids one day. You have some of that too. You have a little bit of a different health journey than I do coming into this thing. I mean, there was a point in time when I was overweight, you know, and needed to lose weight, but that wasn't really part of my CrossFit. Yeah. It wasn't like a driving factor. But I think that when you and I look at or think of competition, we probably go to CrossFit competition. It's kind of like the first place that your brain goes. And then you almost immediately snap yourself out of that. And you're like, CrossFit is not a competition. It is a training methodology meant to improve your health. Right? Like that. I mean, that's what I always do.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a fun side effect,
but there is an element of competition to it.
100%, yeah.
So it's really easy, like for me to be like, competition bad, because it's not healthy. Like you can't tell me that spending 8 hours a day with a barbell in your hands, or you know what I mean, pushing yourself to that brink, that cusp of intensity, where that place where intensity and mechanics start to break down, and live in your whole life
living there
the whole time. Right? Like it's not a sustainable way to train. So there's a shelf life on that. And for you and me, like as coaches, like I don't want there to be a shelf life on your ability to train. I want you to be able to do it for years and years and years. Like when you're 100 years old, you're going to be in here doing kipping. I don't want a
total knee replacement at 38 years old.
Yeah. You know, we want to be able to take care of ourselves in the future. And when I think of these, like, I mean, look at like high level bodybuilders. Ronnie Coleman is a really good example. So if you don't know who Ronnie Coleman is, go look him up. Yeah, buddy. Okay. Ronnie Coleman in his prime, man, that dude was a freak. I mean, just like he was a bodybuilder and a police officer, weirdly. have you ever seen pictures of Ronnie Coleman? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Have you ever seen pictures of Ronnie Coleman in his police uniform?
I have not. I didn't know he was a police officer.
I would be scared to death if that guy pulled me over. Be like, whatever you want, officer.
Whatever. Like,
I mean, this dude is huge. But in his prime, Ronnie Coleman was like incredibly strong. And I don't know if I would say healthy or fit, but he was a very, very strong man. And his physique was just like, holy cow. Like, dude had muscles on top of muscles. I mean, just an incredible, incredible specimen of a human being. And now the dude can barely walk.
Yeah.
You know, because he spent all of those years of his life chasing that very peak pinnacle performance. I'm not talking about being necessarily the best that he could be, which I'm sure was part of it, but he wanted to be the best in the world. So like when I think of the best that I can be, the best that I can be
is not the best in the world.
It's not. Yeah. It's not even
and
close
I'm okay
to
with
that. Yeah. Yeah. But for some people who have that, there's a genetic
that drive,
component there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, there's, again, I'm not a competitive expert by any means, but there's a mindset that comes along with it. There's a genetic gift that comes along with it. There's a talent gift that comes along with those things. And all of that stuff has to line up together in order for these people to be able to go out there and perform the way that they do. And not even just to perform, but to be able to train to perform in the way that they do. That's why not everyone's a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that just from a different angle, you know, I think of, I've got some buddies that were Navy SEALs and that went to BUD/S and didn't make it. Right. And all of them say the big separator is what happens up here. You know, how can you approach each moment of your day? And you have to be able to suffer to be at that level. And I would say like, hey, if you're a SEAL, you're at like the competitive peak of military service. You know, you have to be a high level athlete to be able to do that. And with being a high level athlete comes a mindset that just, man, it's so rare.
Different.
It's so rare. Well, if you read any of have you read Goggins' books?
Yeah.
I mean, dude went through, I think he went
How many times did he go through BUD/S? 3?
I think he said he went through BUD/S 3 times. And then the last time he talks about, like he couldn't fail out but he had stress fractures all through his legs, on both legs
and his shins.
Yeah. So he would come in, put a pair of socks on, put a whole entire roll of duct tape on each leg.
This man was literally taping his bones together.
Yeah. And then
for BUD/S.
And then another pair of socks to cover up the duct tape. And then we would go out and run whatever crazy mileage they were running. I'm sure it was probably somewhere between, 8 to 15 miles.
And in the sand. A lot of it was in the sand.
You know, I mean, dude, that's a different mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for pushing your limits for sure, but there comes a point where it's like, are you just crazy? You know?
And I think we can all agree Goggins is absolutely crazy.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, like he talks about, and one thing that I do love that he talks about is like, not only would he do the things there, but he would expect other people to do them, not to completion, but to the best of their ability. Like when they would do basically what we would think of as thrusters with a boat, it wasn't just get the boat overhead. It was, we're going to do this all the way down, all the way up, or he would make them restart. And that's just, it's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, there's such a mindset. Like to me, that's when I'm looking at like CrossFit athletes, because that's my world. That's kind of the world that I live in. To me, that's the biggest difference between the people that are on the podium and then even like first place and second place. When you went to the games last year, when you watch the different heats go, you can see the shift from one heat to the next in how hard they're willing to push themselves. And that's one thing that I'll always remember about Fraser. So Fraser was like, Froning's the GOAT. So don't get me wrong. Okay. Froning's the GOAT.
Your team,
I'm
Team Rich.
Team Rich all the way.
Cracks me up. Like most people are either one or the other.
Yeah. It's like the LeBron or Jordan conversation, which obviously Jordan is the GOAT, but, that was like, Rich was like super calculated. Dude could suffer, don't get me wrong, but he seemed so calculated, and he just knew or knows himself so well. Like he knows, and he plays his own game, you know? So like he knows where he can push and where he can pull back and where to pick up the pace. And like, he just had this awareness of what was going on around him. Like he was a real gamer. I felt like, where Fraser, on the other hand, was just built to suffer. Like,
and he'd just go to that dark place.
He could just and live there. Yeah. Like he could just push himself and put like harder than anyone else on the floor, and you would see it. And like, you could see even like live, it's easier to see, but you could see it when he knew that he had passed everyone in his head, when he was like, okay, I have now broken everyone and I can continue to push now, and it like drove him even harder. There's something that, there's like, I'm going to mess all this up. So, the aerobic capacity guy. It'll come to me. I can't remember his name. But he talks about like breaking the band when you're running. So like when you're racing in a competition, there's like this point.
Oh,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know who it is.
There's like this point where everyone's kind of within each other. And he talks about like, you've got to be able to find that place where you can break away and break the band. And when you can break that band, then everyone else will still be banded together and they'll be fighting and jockeying for position. But if you can break that band, it becomes a fight for second. Away from the pack. And that's what Fraser did a lot of. He was just able to break that band and just get away from everybody, because he was able to just hurt more. And Fraser talked about like going into his basement, because he trained alone in his basement,
which that in itself is an exercise in mental toughness. Yeah.
And he would talk about just like working his weakness, like getting on the rower and just rowing as hard as he possibly could for as long as he could until he went into his dark place. And then how much more can I go? And it like, that's a monotonous, boring thing to do. It's so easy to just like chill, like I'm gonna jump on this rower for 20 minutes and I'm gonna do my 20 minute row.
Think you're going hard and you're not.
Yeah. Especially when you're alone. That's such a hard thing to do when you're alone. So yeah, I mean, there's just there's a mindset that goes along with high level competition, man. And
so you mentioned like in our world, we see that in CrossFit, our brain goes to CrossFit. You were starting to really expand outside of that and starting to get more involved in youth sports. Where do you see that in youth sports? You were telling me earlier that like wrestlers are built different. Yeah.
The gym has been working with the Robinson wrestling team, and it's been awesome. A big part of the reason why we moved across the street from the high school was to get involved in the strength and conditioning program at the high school. It was serendipitous that this piece of land came up for sale when it did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the way that it did, for us to land here. And, it's something that I have always wanted to do. I love working with high school age dudes. I mean, I like working with the girls too, don't get me wrong. But especially as I'm growing older, like I need that little extra boost of testosterone in my life. But yeah, I mean, there's just a different mindset with someone who is willing to step out on a mat all by themselves in a one-on-one setting,
in a quiet arena,
in a quiet building.
That was the other big thing.
Yeah.
Like
in a quiet building where every eye is on you. And there's no hiding from it. Wrestling
every win, every mistake is out on the floor.
Wrestling is
everybody.
such an interesting sport, and I don't know of any other sport that is going to ounce for ounce match. You're going to get out of this what you put into it. Plain and simple, right? Like when you first start wrestling, you're going to lose a lot. It's just the way that it is. You're going to wrestle kids that are more experienced than you, that have better technique than you, and you're going to get beat on. And I mean, my sons, for instance, lost a lot. And you have to be a pretty tough cookie to go and get your butt kicked day after day after day after day and keep coming back to that.
And in front of everybody. Like, while it's a kind of a team sport, it's not.
Yeah, there's no one to hide behind.
No.
You know, when you go out on
like every mistake is yours.
Yeah, when you go out on a football field, there are 10 other guys out on that field with you.
Right.
And if you make a mistake, well, that's not what we want. We want execution on the football field, right? But if you make a mistake, like there's a chance that things can still go your team's way.
Right.
When you're on a wrestling mat and you make a mistake, the other guy is going to take advantage of that and you're going to get beat, period. And there's just a level of innate toughness that you have to be able to do that. And, you know, I think that is, we have some wrestlers that are also football players. And those are the kids on the field that you'll find like there's some attitude out there. Those are the guys that are like head down going to work.
Just do the work.
Yeah. Like when you're watching the football game and you see you can see like who's playing hard and who is moving on to the next play. Most of those kids are wrestlers. Because you have to do that, right? We were Grayson Elliott, shout out G, one of my favorite kids of all time. They were wrestling their regional, and Grayson lost one of his matches, and you know you lose a match, and now you have to come back to the loser bracket to be able to wrestle back to get third place, which they take the top three. So he's wrestling for third automatically after he loses that match. And I walked up to him and I'm like, hey dude, you all right? And he's like, yep, I'm all good, coach. On to the next one, ready to work. Like that's a different mentality, man. That's a different mentality.
Totally different mentality. And how much further he's going to get in life as an adult. Like regardless of what he ends up doing, should he ever pursue athletics, like post high school, is totally beside the point.
There's so much that his life is going to be better.
100%.
Because he's got Dory vision. You know what I'm talking about? Like he is able to forget about those losses or those mistakes.
Able to be a goldfish, 3 seconds.
And capitalize on those things and look back. And I think that this is like the big lesson from wrestling. I wasn't a wrestler. I don't know jack about coaching wrestling. I just know what I see on the mat and what I've seen my sons go through. Like I know about coaching strength and conditioning and how what we do inside of the gym translates to the mat. But as far as like the X's and O's of coaching wrestling, I got no idea. Like I just yell things when I'm out there, like go hard, take them down. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about, you know? I'm slowly learning. I'm going to start watching film with the team, I think. So I can like learn more, but, I forgot where I was going. There's to be able to step into the arena and get beat and step off of that circle, off of that mat, and immediately go, all right, here's what I need to fix.
That's a skill most adults don't have.
Yeah.
But most people don't have that skill. I mean, I think that's why we're in the situation we're in.
Yeah.
In the world.
If I was a business owner, I would want kids knowing what I know now. I want people working for me that have that wrestling background. Or that have a sporting background. Because I think that's one of the beautiful things of high school sports is, look, most of us are not going to, or most of these kids are not going to go on and compete at a higher level. They're just not. So what can we teach these kids now while we have our hands on them? Like what life lessons can we give them through sport? And you know, if you've lived life for any amount of time as an adult, you know that you're going to fail. Mm-hmm. It's just part of life. Mm-hmm. You're going to fail at something. And as an athlete, being able, like having that Grayson mentality to be able to fail and then immediately figure out what lesson can I take from this and how can I apply it moving forward, and forget about that failure and immediately start thinking about the next thing. What am I moving on to instead of what is holding me back? Whew, man, that's really, really powerful, and something that I didn't learn until really I found, well, I think that I learned a little bit of that in the like basic training.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, I don't think of that. I was just like trying to survive.
Yeah.
At that time.
I mean, you were kind of forced to just keep moving forward. Like you didn't have the luxury of looking back.
Yeah. I think there you just kind of learn, like, as long as you keep moving, you're not going to get in trouble. So you just keep moving.
So you just keep going.
To just keep your head down.
Yeah.
But I think that was something that CrossFit gave me.
Yeah.
Was how to fail and learn from my failures and then capitalize on that thing. Right.
Yeah. For me, it was Olympic lifting. Like, that is where I think the most growth, like mindset wise, has happened for me, learning clean and jerks and snatches.
Dude, they're so hard.
Because they're so hard.
Yeah.
And there's so much thought that has to go into them. But like as cheesy as it sounds, like the biggest life lessons have come from that.
Yeah, it's
like you have to go into it knowing that this isn't going to work. It's still worth doing it, and here's what I'm going to learn from it for the next rep.
And there's always opportunity to get better.
Oh yeah, and there's never a finishing spot. Like you can execute
something.
There's always something to get better at. Yeah.
There's always, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about CrossFit in itself too, is like you can never get good enough. You know, like you can always
once you are,
better.
the bar raises.
Yeah.
Like it
there's just
never,
the next level.
Yeah. It never caps out.
And there's a lot of that in the sport of wrestling too.
Well, it got me thinking about it because maybe I dreamed this. Didn't Froning wrestle?
Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot of CrossFit Games athletes that wrestled.
So Medeiros was a wrestler.
Yes. Yeah. And he's good at going to that dark place. Yeah. And like, you want to talk about somebody that should have the ego because he's podiumed how many times, but then he doesn't feel sorry for himself. He just puts his head down and works.
So this might be a good example. Do you watch the Boys Interrupted podcast? Oh, yeah. Okay. If you don't watch Boys Interrupted, you should watch Boys Interrupted if you're a CrossFit nerd like us. So that is Justin Medeiros, Jason Hopper, Dallin Pepper, and James Sprague. So 4 of like the young elite like bros.
They're like the new generation of.
They're the new generation of CrossFit. So 3 of those 4 have won legit, like big time CrossFit Games championships. So Sprague won. Well, what was it? Justin won 2 back to back.
Justin's won 2.
And then Sprague won the next one, and then not the next
consecutive one, but
he was the next one of that group to win.
Yes.
And then Hopper won last year.
Yeah. And so then Dallin has come in second, and then last year he came in 4th.
And Dallin and Sprague were both games competitors as teenagers.
Yeah, and Dallin took first every year.
Yeah, I think he take first every year.
He
so
was
like 16
he was
to
the
18.
Rich Froning of
16 to 18, I think. Is that right? Yeah. So just as a good comparison between the wrestler and the football player.
Yeah.
So Justin Medeiros, who's like a really super humble dude.
Very.
Right? Like Medeiros is like super focused and like kind of always thinking about like the next thing.
He's playing chess.
Yeah, he's playing chess. And then you have Jason Hopper. Who is just
football player.
Like a total spaz, like big ego kind of a guy. Like very like fraternity dude.
Like knows how to go to the dark place.
Yeah.
But will just go there with no rhyme or reason.
Yeah. But I think like even more than that, like one of the things that I struggle about with Hopper is just this like arrogance that he's got.
He's gotten a little better.
He has gotten a little bit better.
He's gotten a little better. But
and he's a Jesus freak. So
like recently,
I know that about him.
Yes. Like that's been a fairly recent.
But he's a kind of an arrogant dude.
Oh yeah.
And Hopper was a football player. So Hopper played football for Clemson in college. I think 1 year or something like that. But still, like that's his background is as a football player. And then you've got Medeiros who was a wrestler, and you can kind of see the contradiction in the attitude. Now, Hopper was a high level football player. You don't go to Clemson as a wide receiver if you're just like,
okay.
Right. You know, that's a big time Division I school.
Or if you're not coachable, like clearly he's.
Yeah. But just as far as like, you know, you're talking about the attitude of a wrestler, I think that's just a really good representation in the CrossFit space of kind of the difference between the two. And it's really fun to work with people who have that mindset of like, when I come into the gym, it's time to work, and you don't have to babysit those people. And I think that's another reason why I like working with high school kids so much as opposed to middle school kids. There's just that a little bit of a different level of maturity.
Yeah, that
there.
extra year or two makes a big difference.
Yeah, and it's usually like freshmen are still kind of weird.
That's an understatement, but yeah.
But there's a transition somewhere between 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
For most boys, at least. Girls are already there for the most part. Like I've never had an issue with a girl in the gym ever.
Yeah.
Like never with a teenage girl. Like they're just, well, first of all, they're all so scared to come in, but they just do what they're told, you know, where the boys like they just got to touch each other's butts all day long. You know, like I had a group of 8th graders one time, and it was just constantly like, guys, stop touching each other. Like I get it. Your hormones are raging, but like, get your hands off of each other.
Yeah, just focus for 2 seconds.
Like I have to separate them. And typically getting into the high school age, we're starting to move away from some of that stuff. Hormones are still raging, don't get me wrong. But their ability to focus is just a little bit different.
Do you feel like they've got a little more body awareness, a little more like...
Sometimes. It's...
Do you feel like it comes and goes week to week? Like 1 week they'll come in and it's like, okay, you know what, you're doing that movement. And then maybe like 2 weeks later, it's like, dude, I don't know what happened.
Dude, kids are all so different.
Yeah.
I mean,
some adults are like that, to be fair.
Yeah. They're the really young ones, like 6th, 7th, 8th graders. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like every day seems like a brand new day.
Yeah.
But I think that there's really big, like the first separation is between 7th and 8th grade. And I think the next separation is between their freshman and their sophomore year. You know, it's not just about their physical maturity and ability. There's a mental and emotional piece of training these kids than just physical stuff. So, you know, that emotional stability and emotional readiness to come into the gym, like that is something that changes from day to day, and something that I have to be conscious of every time they walk in the door.
Well, also, I mean, you're training them to healthily like compartmentalize. And that's not something that I feel like kids are trained to do very often.
Please expand.
Like they come in here and you said this, like, okay, they come into the gym, it's time to get to work. Like it doesn't matter what happened today, good, bad, or ugly. Like this is what I'm here to do.
Yep.
And there's not a whole lot of that. Like we're trained to kind of give into we live in a world that gives into our feelings. Like, so I think from what stressed me out when I was in high school, grades and boys.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I didn't do well on a quiz, or a guy didn't talk back or didn't respond to me. That 100% would have affected my performance in the gym. So like learning to compartmentalize, because that's a life skill that we've got to have.
Sure is. Yeah. And that's why every kid should wrestle, because you don't have a choice but to learn how to do that.
I'm seeing a lot more girls wrestle than ever before.
Dude, the girls are so awesome. I mean, it's, again, like I'm not a wrestler. Like I've never been involved in wrestling at all until my boys were involved in it. And I have just seen them grow and mature, and the way that they are able to handle and carry themselves now, man, like every kid should do it. And bringing these girls in, like, I mean, like you said, teenage years are emotional years for girls. Like, I mean, so I've got one at home. And I I think that her middle school years were harder than her high school years have been. Maybe again, up to like that freshman year, like, things were still a little bit awkward then, but she's a junior now, and it's weird because I feel like I have a woman walking around my house. Like, she has just grown up so much. But again, she's a competitive cheerleader, and she is competing in something and working toward something all the time. And she's been doing that she was like 4 or 5 years old when she started competitive cheer, So when I look at all of the progression that she's had to go through, from being able to do a front roll, with the tumbly mat thing where she had to like roll over the top of it, and then learning, like, progressing into, a forward walkover and a back walkover, and all of the failure that she's had to face along the way, learning how all the way up to now. I think she's got I don't know what it's called, a full, where they run and they do a cartwheel into a twisty flip.
You could say whatever to me, and I would be like, oh, okay, cool. It's like me watching the Olympics. I'm
the same. But she's got this, like, right now she has the skill that it would take for her to make a college cheer team.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
So she's progressed and advanced from learning how to roll around on the floor, like literally just roll, to now I can do this like crazy acrobatic stuff. And when I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, she's going to die, going 900 miles an hour and just failure to be able to hit that on the floor during a competition. So to circle all the way back to what you were saying at the very beginning, there's so much value in learning how to compete. I do agree with that. As I'm getting older, I don't want to compete anymore because it takes me so long to recover from that stuff. But as a kid, I think that the lessons that you learn on the wrestling mat or on the cheerleading floor,
it's almost like it compensates for your brain not being fully developed.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lot of science behind that. It's just, like the decision making that it takes to, if you want to be a good wrestler, if you want to be a good football player, if you want to be a good cheerleader, like, you are going to have to make some decisions as a high schooler.
Well, it teaches kids about consequences, and not just like, oh, you do this, I'm going to be mad at you and you're going to be grounded. But like, now you're going to lose something that you've put work towards.
Yep. I mean, it teaches you how to show up.
Yeah.
How to show up for yourself, how to show up for your team. The things that you can do, the things that you can't do. The effects of those decisions, the consequences, like you're saying, and the weight room shows us that stuff too. We talked about in wrestling, you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. Man, the weight room's the same way. To come back to Grayson and my son, we're getting ready to roll into Fresh Soft State Series. Brand new experience for me. Never been through anything like this. So the varsity guys are going through all of their wrestling stuff right now, or their state series right now. Well, there's a Fresh Soft State. Super cool. Grayson Elliott is a sophomore in high school, and he's going to compete in that Fresh Soft State Series. He's also doing the varsity series because he's a varsity wrestler. So he's going to go in and dominate this freshman sophomore thing. But he's in the same general weight class as Gunner. They kind of go back and forth between these two weight classes. So as we get deeper into this off season or postseason, the team starts to whittle away a little bit. So as you don't make it to the next level, if you're not partnering with someone or practicing with someone, then your season's over, right? So I was talking to Gunner, like, hey man, are you going to practice with Grayson? And he's like, yeah, he's a sophomore, Dad. I'm like, oh yeah, duh. And I was like, can you beat him? Can you beat Grayson? He's like, maybe like 1 time out of 10. I'm like, what do you mean 1 time out of 10? He's like, well, since he's started with you, He's gotten so much stronger this year that I can't keep up with him anymore. And they all have. They've all gained some strength. But again, Grayson is one of those kids, and I'm just going to keep giving this kid love. He's one of those kids that when he shows up to the weight room, he's not here to mess around. He is here to work. And he wants to get better. And where maybe some of the kids are still kind of figuring it out a little bit. And I think that's, if there's a lack of, I don't want to say effort. If there's a lack of anything, it's just understanding and trying to figure out how to do these movements and where they're at from a loading standpoint. And we're still building all of that in the gym and progressing these kids. But Grayson has been in the gym for a long time, and Grayson has actually been in this gym in and out since he was a little guy. Like, I've trained Grayson several times throughout the years, and he's kind of got it. You know, he knows, like, when I say, hey, we're doing front squats, like, Grayson knows what a front squat is, you know. Like, when I say, hey, we're doing kettlebells, Grayson knows what a kettlebell swing is. And a lot of these kids do, but they don't understand the posture and positioning the same way that Grayson does. So just like an Olympic lift, as you improve in that Olympic lift, when you first do it, you're thinking about, where do my feet go? Where are my hands supposed to be? What's the like, what do I do when the bar breaks the floor? And then where's my launch position? And then I got to hit this high hang, and are my shoulders in front of the bar? And then am I driving my, am I shrugging hard enough?
Way overcomplicated.
Yeah. Like
there's a lot of noise.
There are 10,000 things that you could potentially be thinking about. But as you improve,
you think less and less about
those things, and then you can focus more.
You can dial in on the really nitty-gritty things. Yeah. It becomes muscle memory.
And as Grayson and Gunnar both have been more involved in the gym, and they're getting to that place where they don't have to think about this stuff so much, and they can just kind of work. And they're reaping the benefit of that, because now they're able to put in that really high effort in the gym, and it's transferring to what they're doing on the mat. And I think that that's the value of coaching inside of the gym. When you have someone that can see and cue and correct, help you get into better position, and talk you through those things, what you should be feeling, what you should be thinking, it helps you progress through that stuff a lot faster. And if we can progress through that stuff a lot faster in the gym, that means we can start to work a little bit harder. We can work with some more intensity, because or high school strength and conditioning is the same as CrossFit. We have to build the mechanics first before we can push the intensity, right? And when the intensity breaks the mechanics, we have to rebuild those mechanics. And that's the fight all the time, whether you're doing CrossFit or whether you're doing youth strength and conditioning. The intensity just looks different. Right. It's a different training methodology, and they look different, but the thought process behind it is the same. So now we can push this intensity super high through coaching, and then you start to see that transfer on the floor, where their conditioning is improved and they're able to get into that third period and they look good still, you know, and or their strength has improved. And they get into that third period, and you can see them. You can see the other guy just like, what has this guy been doing? You know, and that's what I love. That's what I love, is when those kids step on that mat and you can see that they are breaking the other guy.
Breaking the band.
That's what I'm after.
That's awesome. It's interesting that you say that, like, just the difference of having a coach versus just having a program. And I mean, that translates. I mean, how often do we see that here? Like, people that say, like, oh, I go to the gym and I have this program that I've been following, but they haven't seen any results. And that's just magnified in youth sports and what you're talking about, like seeing it in the wrestlers.
Yeah, it's super frustrating to me. I get it. I understand where you're poking me. I understand why things are the way that they are, because there is a lot of demand and then a lack of resource. And right now, one of those things that we see, especially here locally is very, very few people responsible for a lot of people. And there's not enough bandwidth with those few people to cover the lot of people. And that is where I see the biggest issue. Because to me, you can show up to the weight room and you can go and you can do your own Instagram workout routine, or you can have your workout program that's plugged into the app and says do these number of reps and these number of sets. But there is a few pieces that go missing when there's no one there to help you through those things.
Or to watch the sets, watch the reps. Well, and I mean, you say I'm poking you, like, yes, we see this with youth sports, but like we see it with adults too. I mean, all of these programs, I mean, there's a plethora of, no shortage of programs online that people are trying to get you to buy into and subscribe to that, but without a coach, it's not going to be as effective.
Yeah, it's just not, right? So form follows function. We want to make sure that we are doing these movements properly with great mechanics. Because again, once we build up good mechanics, then we can build consistency. And if we trust the process of building great mechanics, knowing that behind that intensity will come, that's where the coach can help, right? Is if I can help you learn how to squat faster, if let's say you're a freshman in high school or an 8th grader, and I can teach you really, really great squat mechanics now. Look, strength is going to take time to build. So the earlier we can get those really great mechanics, the earlier I'm going to be able to push loading and intensity through load with you, the stronger you're going to get faster than the other kids, right?
Well, yeah, we know results come from that intensity.
Yeah, and that's what we're after. But you can't
get intensity until you get the other stuff. Right. And that's what you need the coach for.
And that's what we're after. And again, it is the intensity that's going to make the difference. And it's not just the mechanics and the movement, but man, how many times have you been to, maybe not very many, but how many times have you been to a 24-hour type gym and you walk in and you look around? How many people do you see just...
Oh, they do a set and then they sit on their phone for like 10 minutes.
Endless scrolling.
Yeah.
You know, where's the intensity in that?
Yeah. And here's, so side note, my beef with that, because people will say, oh, but you rest between sets. Like, yeah, I get that. But if you are able to sit and scroll during your rest and not like actively reset, you did not go heavy enough or hard enough when you were working.
Yeah. Yeah. You should need
that rest, and you shouldn't want to sit there and scroll on your phone. You
should need the rest that you're working for.
Oh yeah, there's no intensity, zero intensity. I would say the only intensity that happens in a Globo gym, intensity, quote unquote, is when you see like people doing sprints on a treadmill, which even that is very few and far between.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that adults are better about that than kids are, especially when kids go in to train together. Like, I've had parents tell me like, oh, well, Johnny's going here with his buddies and they're following this program. And
I almost think that's worse.
Yeah. Oh no, it's so much worse. Like it's so much worse. I think
like adults too, like the times that I've gone to a gym with my friend, we get jack shit done.
Yeah. And that's what happens with the kids. They go in there and they start horsing around with each other and taking Instagram videos and, take a picture of the, you know what I mean?
And
like
then the next thing you know, 2 hours have passed. And it's like, I didn't sweat.
And they didn't do anything. And then they go out and step on the mat or step on the field or step on the floor. And they wonder why they're not able to perform at the level that they, in their mind's eye, they see themselves performing at, or they go and they get hurt. Right? Because the stuff that they're doing inside of the gym is not building the kind of strength that's going to keep them safe out on the field. Look, man, sports are dangerous. Kids don't die walking into the math class. Kids don't break arms in the science lab. They do that on the field. And when we can use the gym to train strength around tendon, ligament, joints, like we want to be able to do that stuff so that when these kids are stepping out onto the field, they've got some freaking traps that are going to protect their neck. You know what I'm saying? Like We want muscle around those things. We've got big biceps and forearms that are going to protect those elbow joints. Those are the kinds of things that we're after. We've got strong and mobile hips so that we're able to cut and move and do all of the things, right? Without risk of, or without injuring ourselves. Now, that does not mean that we are eliminating all risk of injury inside of the gym.
You never will. No program ever will.
You can't do that because sports are unpredictable. And that's part of the beauty of sport is that it is unpredictable.
Well, that's just life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's life. But what we do inside of this gym as compared to what little Johnny is going to do on his own are two totally different things. And you're going to see two totally different sides of performance when they're doing those things. But yeah, man, it's super frustrating to me that the kids aren't getting the eyes on them that they deserve to have on them. You know, I'll die on the hill that coaching is valuable. There is nothing when in the weight room, particularly in youth sports or high school sports, cutting these kids loose with 400 pounds on their back.
That's terrifying.
And no one in there who knows what they're doing to either woe them or coach them is irresponsible. It's irresponsible. It's you're risking the health and welfare of these kids. They would be, man, I don't know. I don't know if they would be better off not doing anything at all than going into the gym on their own, going into the weight room on their own. It just, it frustrates me because I've seen videos come out of high school weight rooms and it's these kids doing a deadlift looking like a dog shit in razor blades.
That's exactly what I was just thinking of.
And coaches will post this stuff on their social media. Like, look at this 500 pound deadlift that my kid did, and have no idea the risk of injury that they're putting that kid in.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even know that they're looking at a bad technique. That tells me everything that I need to know about what's going on inside of that weight room. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've coached the sport coaches through, this is where your hips go when you squat. Here's where your feet go when you squat. They don't know. And that's fine. I wouldn't expect them to know what to do inside of the weight room because that is not their job to coach them in the weight room. Their job is to coach them on the mat or on the field or on the floor. My job is not to coach them on the mat or the field or the floor. My job is to coach them in the weight room. Like I said, I got no idea how to coach my boys in like the actual X's and O's of wrestling. Maybe a little bit of football, but at this point, I'm so far removed from having been coached in football myself. I got no business coaching those kids on X's and O's of football. Now, what we do in here, looking at the sport and going, okay, here are some things that I see that are happening in competition or in practice. And here are some things that we can do into the gym that are going to transfer into sport generally. I can do that. 100%. But I'm not going to be teaching Johnny how to block or quarterback how to throw. Like that ain't my world, man.
Yeah. But Matt, I have an online personal trainer cert, and so I can absolutely, coach. And I think just going back to like social media, I think about this a lot because my feed is just filled with people, personal trainers, quote unquote, personal trainers that, are selling programs, selling whatever but they're not actually like doing it.
Yep.
And it's just wild to me. Like, and then thinking about, I mean, you mentioned like trying to articulate this. The thought of having these high schoolers in with 400 pounds on their back, but we see it with adults too. Like that they go to these Globo gyms and have no idea what they're doing other than they've got this written program, and it's how much more harm are we doing?
Or hiring a trainer that has a weekend certification. That's writing a random ass program for them.
That makes zero sense.
So
okay, let's talk about like what we did in our coaches meeting last week.
Oh, what did we do? We built the
We
on-ramp.
built out an on-ramp, and
Yeah.
it took how long for us to really, and how much thought?
Oh yeah. So it was you and me and Charlie, and we sat for what? And how long were we here, Charlie? Hour and a half?
At least an hour and a half.
Hour and a half
To write 3 workouts.
to write 3 workouts, to fully think through, making sure that we were hitting all of these different primal movement patterns and making sure that the flow of these workouts flows the way that we want it to, and we're accomplishing the things that not just that we want to accomplish, but that need to be accomplished, right? There's an art to programming, there's a science to programming, and good coaches know both and can blend those 2 things, which is why I wanted to get your guys's thoughts there. Cause I'll be honest with you, I don't like programming CrossFit. There's programming for strength training is so much easier. It's so much simpler. Yeah. It is not that complicated. But CrossFit there's definitely more of an art to programming CrossFit. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah. I think what you're getting at is going to, like, is it okay for someone to call themselves a professional if they've gone to NASM or whatever the latest, greatest certification process is and spent 6 hours to earn a personal training certificate and then call themselves a professional after that? And I'm going to say, hell no. It is not okay for you to go online and get a 6-hour personal training certificate and then call yourself a professional. That's not okay.
There's no professional in the world that goes through 6 hours.
No. So the pushback here is going to be, well, you go
but
to
CrossFit is also a weekend cert.
you go to a 2-day certification in person and you call yourself a professional. No, I didn't.
No, I don't.
I didn't call myself a professional for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you right now, the more you know, the more you realize.
The more you don't know.
I don't know.
The more you don't know.
Yeah. And it's
every day I walk in here, I feel like my knowledge base is like smaller and smaller. Even as my knowledge base grows.
Yeah.
You
don't
realize just how finite it is.
Yeah. You don't realize how deep the rabbit hole actually goes for this stuff. So you have to have skin in the game.
Yeah.
You have to have skin in the game. You have to have years of coaching experience before you can call yourself a professional in this industry. And when it's funny that Lisa just walked in the door, because Lisa was one of my very first clients when we first started this thing. And Lisa, how long did we train in the garage? Like 2 years, year and a half, 2 years? Yeah. I mean, Lisa was letting me figure it out for a long time, her and a few other people. But there were years of acquiring knowledge and learning and figuring out how to coach and how to program and how to do all of this stuff. I mean, even like how to run a class and training my coach's eye.
Yeah, having the cert and publishing your workout to an app or to an online program, that is not being a coach.
It's bullshit.
It's not coaching. You're not a coach.
It's like influencer stuff.
It doesn't do anything.
How do you tell the difference between an influencer and a coach on social media?
I don't know.
It's the difference in the camera angle.
Oh, that was good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an influencer, the camera angle is going to be from the
coach is on the person.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, well, if your coach on Instagram is showing their ass, they're not a coach.
If your coach on Instagram is showing you what they're doing, then that's probably a red flag.
It's to take it a step. Is it still recording? No. Okay. Well, we got the audio at least. To take it a step further, if you like, I see so many of these coaches posting videos on their social media of whatever it is that they're doing and doing it wrong and having absolutely no clue like that they're doing the wrong, hey, this is the movement that I'm doing and it's not
It's not even close.
not.
And I know we're getting like I know we've been going for a
We're
while.
going ranty.
But yeah, we are. Here's my big thing too is like, okay, I can't do a bar muscle up. I can't do a ring muscle up. There are so many things. I can't deadlift anywhere close to 400 pounds. And when you watch me deadlift, there are absolutely going to be things that we've got to work on execution.
But it's going to look like a deadlift.
But I can tell you with certainty, I know where my feet are supposed to go.
Yeah.
I know where my hands are supposed to go, and I can coach somebody through it. Same with a bar muscle up or a ring muscle up. Like I know the movement and the execution of it. And there's just such a lack of knowledge in that.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's wild. Like when people first started in the gym, I can't tell you how many times throughout the years I've taught someone how to squat. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, no one's ever taught me that before."
Well, we have a member of the gym who was very involved in the strength community and came in and said, "Oh my gosh, and
no one
this
ever showed
person
me
is
that
not
before."
super young."
Yeah.
And said, "Oh my gosh, I'd never squatted like this before," and wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and I mean, that's the difference, right? Is that you can't, like, I don't know. There are so many differences, and my brain right now, honestly, is going in a million different places. But if you like, there was a long period of time where I kind of had to learn how to coach myself first, and I guess maybe this is the piece of advice that I'll give to a new upcoming coach. Like, if you're trying to learn how to do this thing, you need to get your feet wet. You have to spend time coaching other people, and you might have to do that for free for a little while or for very, very cheap. Because
you got to get time under tension.
You got to get time under tension. And if you don't know what we're talking about when we say time under tension, then go get
case in point.
go get some reps. Video yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
but don't post it to your Instagram.
No, you're going to video yourself and you're not going to want anyone to ever see that.
Yeah. And look at your stance, your grip, your position, and pretend like you are watching a client move. And how would you cue them through that movement? What might be a verbal cue that you would give to that person? What might be a visual cue that you give to that person? What might be a tactile cue that you'd give to that person? Right? Like what would your approach be to giving them those cues? You know, like, how do you fix your stance, your grip, and your position? Are you in those right places? And watch yourself for a while, and you'll learn a lot. And then do the same thing with your first client. Video them, rewatch the video, go back and check yourself. Like, did I catch this thing at the right time? You know, what could I have said differently? There's a lot of value in that, and just kind of keeping it to yourself for a little while.
Like I said, you're going to do it, and you're not going to want anyone to ever see that video.
Yeah. Or go get a coach yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Like, the best coaches all have coaches.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think about, like, the amount of time, selfishly, like the amount of time that I put into prepping for a class and thinking through movement patterns and what are the faults I'm likely to see, who's going to be in my class, what are the faults that I'm likely to see from that specific person, and then having a visual, verbal, tactile cue in my back pocket for that, ready to go, versus these people that just put stuff out there or walk out with no prep whatsoever. And it drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Grinds my gears.
Or I wrote a new program and it can work for anyone.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. DM me the word next or results, and I'll send it over to you. Like
maybe take your program that you wrote and ask yourself for every single movement, the warm up included, which you should be writing a warm up also.
And a cool down.
Yeah. And a cool down. Why? Why am I doing this particular thing? What is the adaptation that I'm trying to get out of this thing? What would be the ultimate outcome that I would get from this program? And like, that is stuff that you need to be thinking through.
And if you can't answer it, like, you got some legwork to do.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
But don't call yourself a professional yet.
Yeah.
You're not there.
Yeah. Okay. We went like in 1,000 different directions, but it's okay.
And this was a long one.
Yeah. We had a lot to say.
So maybe we need to like go back and rewatch this one and like catch the pieces, the different segments, and then like do other podcasts on those segments. Because I think that
there's a lot to unpack in a lot of what we said. There's a lot of rabbit holes we could go down.
I think the problem, Molly, is that we came in with no plan.
Yeah. We had a vague one.
And we just hit all of the things that we thought, hey, we should talk about this thing. So maybe next time I should do a better job of preparing for one of these. And maybe try to stay a little more on point. But anyway, hey, good
talk.
Good job.
Good talk.
See you, dude.